The passion transformation. How to be happy and be passionate of what you are doing right now in your life. Hi, welcome to the Growth Gap. My name is Aslam Khatri. Now, so many people talk about following the passion, saying that if I followed my passion, if you continue to just do what you're passionate about, then it would not be work. Then it would be just, you'll be easy breezy, it'll be just going on fine, and you will accomplish a lot of things. Now, that is a myth only because if you go back to its origins with the speech by Steve Jobs, who suggested that you should always be following your passion. But truly, it is not what we think it is. Truly, it is not. Your passion may be of something that may not be an opportunity for you to make a living. And that has happened to so many people. So many people who decided that they do, and there's basically recorded as to what has happened to those people. They have seen failures, they have faced a lot of dilemma, and they have at the end finally quit, because following a passion, it all depends on what your passion is. If your passion is to collect rocks, and if there's no market for that, then basically all you've done is followed the wrong path. So in my mind, and after reading so many books, but even thinking for myself, that all my life where I had businesses, when I started working, and from there when I grew into the businesses, when I did so many things in my life, I always ask myself a question: is it everything that I did is because I was passionate about, or was it something else? And the answer always comes back to one thing, that no, and I must confess to you, I didn't even know what my passion was. I had just come in. I had come to Canada as this international student. I was just trying to study and get my studies out. I was working in the daytime, and you start to like what you're doing. And that's what I did, because I have always been this happy-go-lucky person who has always found that whatever I'm doing, let me become passionate about it. Let me start doing something that I like. Let me start doing it so that I can create value out there. So following your passion is one thing, but following the opportunity is the other thing. And when you are in the opportunity, unfortunately what has happened is a lot of people look at their work, look at their business, look at whatever they're doing as a burden. They think that this is something that they have been pushed into, that this is their 9-to-5 job, that they have to work, and that it is something of a prison. And that so many people say that. In fact, the statistics show that 70% of the people, can you imagine 7 out of 10 people working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and they are not satisfied? Because in their mind, they are waiting for something to come. In their mind, they think that this is a prison for them. They're waiting for the passion to come. Well, my friends, passion does not come. Passion is something that you create. Now, what is the reason? Why is it that so many people feel that way? Why is it that the people feel? I've seen my co-workers, I've seen my partners, I've seen other people, and always I find that you have somebody who makes beauty out of their job, who work so hard, who work hard, but they don't make it look like it's working hard. They make their job look easier by helping other people. Now, a lot of other people who you see, which was the statistics show, 70% of those people somehow the other are unhappy. They're unhappy, they're miserable, they feel that this is something they have to do. Why is it? Now, here's the 3 reasons that I had jotted down. They are waiting for the external appreciation. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean by that they are in the mindset. They're thinking that I'm doing this for temporarily, and soon I will find something that I'm going to fall in love with. Soon I'm going to find something that I'm going to be passionate about. Now, that could be the different jobs, but that's what people think about. In their mind, it is that external, that someday I will find a job that is going to be of my passion. Now, the question I asked them is very simply, do you know what is your passion? Or are you just waiting for an external thing to happen that will just bring you in and say, this is my passion? So that's number 1. Second thing is, they confuse comfort with happiness. So when you confuse comfort with happiness, then it becomes extremely difficult, because mentality-wise, they have chosen to think that their work is going to be very difficult. So just to begin with, they start doing it and they say, if this job gets easier, that means I'm not doing my job. Therefore, I cannot be happy. It's just the mentality. It's just in your mind that says, if I am going to be happy at my job, then I'm not doing my job. Which is such a crazy notion. But somehow the other, we believe in that. And somehow the other, we go out with that notion that, yeah, I have to work. Work is hard. Work is very difficult. It's all dependence. And therefore, I have to live with that. And if I am happy, then it's not going to work out, because then I'm not doing my job. Perhaps I'll get fired. Perhaps something else will happen. So, number 3. They have bought into this scarcity, which means that perhaps there's nothing else available. Perhaps I cannot do anything else, and therefore I have to live with this. Now, those 3 things, when you look at it, they are so common because people in their own mind create that particular prism. That work is difficult. The burden effect. It's such a burden to get up in the morning and go to work. Such a burden that we fantasize about hump day. That, oh my God, now I have gone through the middle of the week. That we fantasize about TGIF. That we fantasize about when Friday will come. That's the burden effect. And that burden effect is from those 3 things, where we think that the work is difficult. We think that the work, whatever I'm doing, is not what I should be doing. That one day I will find my passion. My friends, the passion is right there. The passion is right there. So, what is the passion principle? Like I said, I am a happy-go-lucky person. And I have always felt, regardless what I did, in my very early days, if I had a desk job, but if I was asked to go clean a small room, which was in those days would be full of carbon because it was the photocopier room, it never bothered me. If this is what I need to do, this is what I need to do. Perhaps I'm doing this to make the place better for myself. And that was my mindset. So, what is that principle? Well, number one, the curiosity shift. Like I said, if I'm given a menial job, I always think about it. How can I make this one better? How is it that I'm doing this? What would this do for me tomorrow? I was always curious about it. So even if I'm cleaning up the room, I know that tomorrow I'm coming here to make more photocopies. Now, wouldn't it be nice if I worked in a cleaner environment? Wouldn't it be nice if I worked in some place where I can come in quickly, get my photocopies done, and get out? But that's how I felt. How can I make this better? How can I make this better for myself? Instead of thinking of it as, that's not my job, this is, why am I doing this? Oh my God, why am I in this particular situation? So if we can just have that curiosity mindset, which says, how can I make this better? What am I doing? How can I make that better? The second thing is the ownership. If I have a job, this is my job to do, why can't I take the ownership of it? Instead of saying that it's a burden, instead of saying that it is so difficult, why am I doing, oh, why me? But if you took the ownership of that job and said, this is for me to do, this is my job to be done, then you would feel much better, because what you're doing now is you are doing the job because you took the ownership of it, not because somebody gave it to you. You know, I would dread the time of income tax, working for an accounting office, and in income tax time it was like a factory where we were making income taxes for the people. And every year it was very difficult because we would put many hours. So what I did was I start finding formulas. I start finding the ways that I can make my job easier. I started to make templates basically, and say, this is the kind of a template that I'm going to use for a small businessman, for a small business person, or this is a template I'll use for family people who are filing their income taxes, or this is for the single person. Now, once I started taking the ownership, I felt that this was a great job, that I was doing it and I was working on it. And the third thing is the impact shift. Ask yourself a question. What kind of impact I'm making doing this income tax, doing this task? For me, the income tax was the easiest answer, because if I had that template that I created, I wrote down everything, and at the end of the day, it was easy for me to explain to my client or clients as to what are the results. Everybody that I met felt that they're people who are providing them the service are the best, because I took pride in my job, because I explained it to them as to what I've done for them, because I showed it to them as to why and where they are, and I even went a few steps further in giving them advice as to what they should be doing for next year. Now, doing this, what I saw was the impact that I was making with the people. Because if you have heard anything, is a lot of income tax jokes, because that's what people talk about as to how dreadful that moment is for people who file their income tax and they have to write the check and they have to do the things. But if you do this, that job, with helping out people, because they have to write that check and they know it, and if you do it with the right mindset. There's something that is an happy moment. That is a passionate, and then now you're helping the humanity, you're helping your friends, you're helping the people, you're helping them understand as to why they're paying those income taxes. Because they made that revenue. So it's all about how you take your job. So how you take that ownership. How you show your curiosity. And as to what impact are you making on the other people. You see how you can shift right away from a burden into something that is such a great help. Now, I wrote down something that I'll read, and it's called the love method. As to how you can improve and as to how you can continue to like what you're doing, continue to find the passion in your work that you're doing. And what is that? What is that love acronym is? See, gotta look for the value. Because everything we do, from cleaning streets to collecting garbage, whatever you're doing, there's a value. Look for the value of what you are providing. That's the L. Own your craft. Whatever you're doing, own it. I mean, I come from the days, the younger days when I used to look at the people and they took pride because they were so good at it. Like Carl Newport suggested, be so good. Get so good that they will notice you. And I met so many people, so many craftsmen, so many people who just basically own their craft, whatever they're doing. And that could be in anything. Vary your approach. You know, you're doing things one way. I was doing income taxes. I was told to sit down and do it this way. And I knew that any given tax season I'm going to do over 1,000 tax returns. So I found a way. I varied in different ways, and then I found my way, which was to create a template. And I had that template for everyone. Now, not only was good for me, but then I started to show to other people. And after so many years, when I needed to go myself to a tax department, to a person for income taxes, I used that template for myself to take it. And it was so simple. It was so easy. So you have to vary it in different ways. And then you have to embrace the growth, because the growth will come. Because once you do it your way, once you've taken that ownership, once you've done it, then the growth just comes. Because now, instead of doing 1,000 tax returns, I was able to do more because I was ready. I knew my craft. I knew what I'm going to do. And I always made it better. So you see, regardless of what the job is, regardless of whatever it is, we can turn that into passion. And that was my message, because I've always seen that when we are interested, when we start mentally thinking, then everything becomes easier. So you start from a burden, which says 9-to-5 job, yeah, how am I going to do it? And I've seen it, and you have seen it too. Go to any central station in the morning where people are coming from suburbs, and some of them look, 70% of them look as if they are going for punishment. Now, when we start with that mindset, that we are going for the punishment, when we go with the mindset of the scarcity, then how are we going to finish the rest of the day? It could be an 8-hour day, it could be a 9-hour day. But if you own it, if you bring the passion that you have, because passion doesn't come. Because even if you were passionate, like Carl said in his book, even if you were passionate about being a Zen Buddhist, and after you've accomplished it, then you ask yourself a question, what's next? And that's how he starts his book. So, waiting for the passion to come, or waiting to say, I'm going to follow my passion, that becomes very rare. That becomes very difficult. That becomes somehow the other a recipe for failure. So instead of following your passion, be passionate about what you do. And that truly is my message. And that truly has helped me achieve so much success in my life. Has made me achieve so many good things. And above all, it made me feel good about myself. Made me feel good about what I did. Makes me feel good about what I am doing. Because whatever I want to do, if I can transform, if I can bring my passion in it, then it just all of a sudden exactly go back to the first statement which says follow your passion, and it will look like you're not working. Well, bring your passion to your work and you will feel that way. So I hope that resonates with some of you. And if you know somebody who needs to see this, please send it to them. Please subscribe to my channel. That helps me a lot. Till next time, I am Aslam Khatri. Goodbye.